Hey, it's Debbie, and I am just getting ready for the workday and wanted to share with you how I'm just slowing down a little bit. I've been going all morning and I can feel the anxiety, cortisol, and I'm in that fight or flight rushy mode that I need to bring it down a notch. So I'm using Pulsetto, and I just want to share with you what I'm doing. So this is a highly conductive multi-purpose electrolyte gel. You put this against your skin where the device goes, or I just put it on the little knob. So just putting some of this gel on my neck. Slow down, do some deep nasal breathing. And then this is a vagal nerve stimulator I'm using. So I'm turning it on. And then I'm going to place it around my neck. And these will go the side of your neck, the carotid. And then I hook up the app. So let's open my Pulsetto app. And this is what it looks like. And then I need to connect Pulsetto. So it's scanning the device, connected. And I'm going to pick a workout stimulation session. So stress, anxiety, sleep, burnout, pain, head pain. So I'm going to push anxiety. And it says use this program anytime you feel tension or anxiety creeping in for 6 minutes, ideal before stressful events, and effective anytime tension starts to build. Daily use recommended, help you feel calmer, more centered, and in control. That's how I feel right now. I've been being aware of when I start to feel anxious. And so I just set this up. It's set level 5. And then I push start. And then it'll shut off in 6 minutes. Simple. So I'm going to do that while I do some breath work. But I want to talk about your nervous system and going deep again, but in a practical way, into something that affects your stress, digestion, your metabolism, your hormones, your sleep, and honestly, how you age. And this is a vagus nerve, wandering nerve, connecting the brain to the gut. We keep talking about it, but I feel most people haven't heard about it. Or maybe they just heard the phrase rest and digest. I'm shifting into that parasympathetic state. So I shouldn't do this while talking, but so I'll do this when I'm done because I can't talk and do this at the same time. But just you can feel this vagus nerve stimulator activating. It's just little pulses. So I'm going to push pause on the program, come back to it. Yes. Because I want to take this moment to share a little bit more about the vagus nerve. Yes, we think of the rest and digest, but there's so much more. And I'm going deep dive into understanding the why behind everything and then using my lab work as an example. As I'm doing the breath work, I'm doing the grounding, beach walks, mostly on the weekends. I'm working on cold on my neck and all the different exercises to help our vagus nerve. But as I just investigated my own health analysis using functional labs, looking at my mitochondria test with MEScreen, a GI map, and blood chemistry panel, patterns I've done 3 this year, blood chemistry, and then looking at the past few years. I want you to understand how the vagus nerve is connected in all this and how it changes. The vagal tone might go down as you age. And for me, using myself as an example that I have been doing all the right things to improve the vagus nerve, to be more resilient. But as I have things changing in my body, not blaming the aging process, but understanding that I need to do things differently and understanding how important this vagus nerve is. It's your master regulator. It's a metabolic thermostat, anti-inflammatory switch, an emotional stabilizer, and then helps for recovery post-workouts. When your vagus nerve gets tired or overwhelmed, it is incredibly common in middle age when we have extra stressors. I'm more vulnerable to getting stressed, anxiety based on my age now, midlife, perimenopause. And for me, the years of pushing hard, the whole system starts to break down. It's easy to do all the lifestyle habits, but not see as much change because there's so much coming at us and me. So your vagus nerve really matters. So I keep talking about it every video, every podcast audio version. There's different ones on the podcast channel. But understanding how stress and aging can shut down our vagus nerve. What symptoms show up when it's under functioning. And as I keep sharing my own story, how my labs are revealing that my vagus nerve needed more help is why I'm using Pulsetto, and it's off right now. And why the lifestyle habits to improve my vagus nerve are just not enough for how much stressors I have coming at me that I have to deal with aging, with my labs showing these hidden internal chronic stressors, and just genetics that are more prone to stress issues. So I also want to tell you ways you can get started today. So let's break down the science into real life language that I'm trying to do on this channel to help you be fit and healthy, not just on the outside, but I want you to be fit and healthy from the inside out, starting at a cellular level. So diving into the vagus nerve as this electrical wiring that runs between your gut and your brain. So it's the calm down button. Why I just was talking about that I'm doing this vagus nerve anxiety program to bring it down a notch because I feel I've got a lot to do today. I feel anxious. The vagus nerve is your message delivery system, your inflammatory dial, your metabolic regulator, and your recovery coordinator. Your vagus nerve, as you should know by now, because I keep talking about this, your heart rate, your digestion, stomach acid, bile flow, insulin, cortisol, thyroid hormone activation, and your ability to burn fat, your capacity to feel safe and grounded. If this nerve is firing well, why I'm using this, your whole body works better. But what I'm trying to get across to everyone, if this vagus nerve is not strong, poor vagal tone, it's weak, it's your area of opportunity, because everything is going to feel harder when this vagus nerve is not doing its job. But what I want to know is, how does the vagus nerve get damaged? Because I'm doing the lifestyle habits for vagus nerve work to improve my heart rate variability. But as I've talked about for years, chronic stress adds up, emotional, physical. This wears the nerve down. If we have busy life stress, you might be a parent, working full time, you have kids, you're taking care of everybody, you have a full-time job, more than one job, and then you're an athlete, chronically overtraining maybe. What if you're not getting good sleep? Your blood sugar going up and down. And then what about under the hood? Do you have infections in your gut? Do you have chronic inflammation in your body? And then for us females, where are you in your menstrual cycle, phase of life? Perimenopause? Are you in postmenopause? Do you have trauma from childhood on? Those traumatic experiences that we never dealt with are shoved deeper in. It's similar to putting your emotions, that experience, in a suitcase and putting it in your storage. Maybe it's way down in your basement and you haven't looked at it and dealt with that luggage for 20, 30 years, but it's still there. It's still in the house. So if you're trying to push through and ignore those body red signals, red flags, and push past exhaustion, your vagus nerve gets a message telling yourself, we are not safe, keep surviving. And when your body stays in survival mode too long, as I did myself, it literally loses tone, the same way muscle loses strength when you don't train it. You don't use it, you lose it. What if you overuse it? Maybe you lose it too. So you're staying in survival mode. You have lost vagal tone. So let's make this simple. When this vagus nerve is stressed, you may not connect the dots, as I've been getting really into this, putting the missing pieces of clients' health puzzle together, as well as my own. Digestion slowing down, your stomach acid drops, bile flow decreases, the inflammation goes up, thyroid slows down, cortisol increases, blood sugar increases, and fat burning goes down, it shuts off, and your sleep gets disrupted. Emotions, you're more reactive. And you might see that on your heart rate variability testing. If you're using Aura, you're using Whoop, you're using Garmin, Apple, heart rate variability, you might see trending downward. So this is why so many middle-aged men and women say, I'm doing everything right, but why am I still inflamed? Why am I bloated? Why am I gaining weight and I'm doing all the right things and I'm still feeling exhausted? Because your operating system, your vagus nerve is overwhelmed. So a low vagus nerve is, we look at it as a low vagal tone. You might experience more bloating if you have constipation, heavy stomach after you eat a meal. Maybe you're more reactive to all these foods that are good for you, but suddenly you're reactive. You have more food sensitivities. What about acid reflux, GERD, low energy, trouble burning fat, weight gain around the belly, anxiety, irritability, the sleeping, tired but wired, brain fog, just all of it, feeling on edge. I just want you to understand this is not random. It's your vagus nerve talking to you. And my story, I shared in a book, Life is Not a Race. It is a journey that's on Amazon. And as I revisit lab work and see patterns since 2013, when I had obvious problems, I couldn't do a thing. I had naps every day. I struggled a lot. And I saw 8, 9 different doctors trying to get help, knowing could help me. You're getting older. I was 42. And now I know a lot more than I did back then. And even my shirt say, take time out to be quiet, learning how to do the breath work, the meditation, morning sunlight, cold plunge, but not too much. Or maybe it's just cold splash on your face, your head, and your neck. Getting your sauna in, red light therapy, daily walks. I've been doing all of that, but still my heart rate variability, I need to test again daily to know, was I stuck in sympathetic dominance, even though I was doing lifestyle habits? Was my low frequency and high frequency nervous system measurement constantly tilted towards fight or flight, which is low frequency? So I did what I always do, what I try to practice, what I preach, run my labs on myself and do my own investigation and connect the dots. So I've shared different videos, but the GI map was a big aha and really connected with my mitochondria test and the blood work and my signs and symptoms. My GI map showed some dysbiosis. I was low in the good bacteria, some inflammation, red flags, signs of low stomach acid, sluggish bile, and lipopolysaccharide bacteria, endotoxicity. And this matters because LPS from this bad gut bacteria that can travel up the vagus nerve, and I just was learning about this, can inflame the brain stem. Endotoxicity literally blocks the vagus nerve from calming my nervous system. A big aha I just figured out. Because if I'm doing all these lifestyle habits, why am I having low stomach acid, low bile flow, and bacteria overgrowth if I'm doing all the upstream issues, strengthen, or not issues, my upstream activities to strengthen my vagus nerve? That's why I'm using Pulsetto device to strengthen that vagus nerve, because I need a lot more stimulus than the lifestyle habits. Because of the lipopolysaccharides, endotoxicity is inflaming the brain stem and blocking the vagus nerve from doing what it's supposed to do. So big aha. Now, my mitochondria test I did earlier this year called MEScreen. Let me know if you want to learn how to do this test yourself. A simple at-home test, pricking your finger, getting some blood dripping on a card. My mitochondria on this test showed low ATP, and that's connected to low vagal power. My mitochondria are the energy factories, right? They showed oxidative stress, cell membrane damage, and low overall energy output. And the vagus nerve needs energy, as everything else in our body needs ATP to function. So if I have low ATP, that's going to impact my vagal nerve activity. Another clue. Now, my blood chemistry panel, I've been tracking 3 times a year, not the once a year. Do it on your own. You can order your blood chemistry panel at Rupa Health. Very inexpensive. Your blood work, for my blood work, showed slower thyroid conversion, cortisol pattern, inflammatory markers. Everything's kind of questionable. It could be better. And blood sugar was a little bit higher depending on when I tested. My thyroid hormones need the vagus nerve to convert T4 to T3. And cortisol is controlled by the vagus nerve. I was not aware of that. And inflammation turns off vagal signaling. And this all fits together. My lifestyle wasn't the problem. My biology needed deeper support. My vagus nerve isn't lazy, it's just overwhelmed, inflamed, and underpowered. And that's why I need direct stimulation with this Pulsetto device. Because once I put all the pieces together of my own health mystery, my gut health, my mitochondria, my hormones, my nervous system, it was obvious. I need more direct vagus nerve activation, not just meditation, the deep breathing, but actual stimulation of the nerve to rebuild the tone, the vagal tone. So I started using Pulsetto device. And the results I can measure my heart rate variability and looking at the LF to HF on Sweetbeat app. Now I have to wear a heart rate monitor, chest strap. I use a polar chest strap, Sweetbeat Life app on my phone, and I'll measure that heart rate variability and look at the raw data to know that LF, sympathetic nervous system, to the HF. I want to look at those numbers, not just my heart rate variability. I want the breakdown, right? So it's like your total cholesterol. It's good information, but it doesn't tell us anything. I want to look at the breakdown, LDL particle size. Same thing with the LF to HF. I want to see, is my LF and HF in balance, or am I more LF higher, sympathetic dominant? How's my sleep quality? Am I measuring my sleep? Is my digestion calm? You can tell by your poop, right? If you're pooping regular, a Bristol stool chart can help you with that. Now, blood sugar regulation through the day. Are you needing to snack? You know, you can get a lot of information by paying attention to your nutrition and digestion, absorption, and meal timing and all that. But for me, the Pulsetto, I just started using, so I'll share my journey along the way, along with my supplement protocol that I'm doing, that I created for myself, because I feel that I need to create this parasympathetic activation because my biology could not produce it on its own. So if you want the link for Pulsetto to get a discount, I can send it to you or put it in the show notes below. But I want you to understand how to track your nervous system. So looking at Sweetbeat Life app or something to get a polar heart rate monitor, measure HRV, your LF, HF, the ratio of the two, your stress and recovery. And then use Pulsetto to retest and see, are you improving? Because it gives you that feedback. Is your vagus nerve responding? So you're not guessing. And then to rebuild that vagus nerve, remember, fix the biology that's stressing your vagus nerve. So I'm working on healing gut infections, increasing my stomach acid, supporting my bile, balancing that blood sugar, improving my detoxification, drainage pathways open first, and giving the nutrients I need for phase 1 and 2, and the reducing that inflammation in the gut. So I can use the daily vagus nerve activators as slow breathing throughout the day, humming, singing, gargling, cold face dips, maybe I'll do in the morning, walking outside as much as I can, gratitude practice, connection. That all helps the vagus nerve. But as I said, for me, I have too much to work on. That's not strong enough stimulus. So I need to add a vagal nerve stimulator. So I'm trying to lower the noise in my body system. So working on the sleep, I always do, prioritize that. But exercising, make sure I give some more active recovery days. I'm not into eating junk food. My stress level's way down from my previous life. I'm not trying to rush like I did this morning, setting this up to do the anxiety protocol that I've done in this video. But if we have constant stimulation and activating that sympathetic fight or flight, we need to activate the parasympathetic even more. Your vagus nerve responds to feeling safe. have consistency in what you're doing, but also having a routine, but feeling calm, finding joy each day, positive social interaction, laughter. These actually are safety signals, and your vagus nerve will respond to those. So good time of year, feeling sense of joy, being around people that make you smile, laugh, hugging people, getting the oxytocin. So all of this matters for how we age in our 40s or 50s, 60s, because for us females, our hormones are changing. I'm taking hormone replacement. It's not the problem. I have other issues I've identified with my own investigation. And so understanding how to improve your foundations, working on order of operations and doing things in phases, and not starting with phase 3 as mitochondrial support before I work on the phase 1. That should improve my digestion, get my stomach acid back up so I can get the amino acids from my protein, getting my fat soluble vitamins up from being able to digest the fat I'm eating, and then helping my thyroid T3 to get into the cells and my mitochondria to work better by getting the cell membrane stronger. So all these changes I'm working on are connected to the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve, once it's healthy, your midlife changes improve. Remember, don't blame the aging process, do things differently, and identify what you need to do with a good health investigator to figure out what's off, what's causing this domino effect. Because rebuilding the vagus nerve is a foundational part of my future you blueprint. So if you're feeling stuck, you just feel inflamed as I was on my running, if you're doing everything right and you're just not seeing the changes, we need to look at your vagus nerve, but also test what's going on under the hood. I strongly suggest that mitochondria test and the GI map or another stool test. There's other good ones as Genova out there. But supporting our vagus nerve from the biology, the lifestyle habits, electrical signaling, as with pulsetto device, the goal is to get out of metabolic chaos that's happening in our bodies and shift to metabolic harmony, getting the body to do what it's supposed to do, restoring its innate intelligence to bring homeostasis back. So all the order of operations are supported and everything works smoothly, creating metabolic harmony. So if you want to learn more about pulsetto device, a tool that's helping my vagus nerve get stronger, let me know and head to debbiepotts.net or shoot me an email at coachdebbiepotts@icloud.com. And I look forward to hearing you, and thank you for being curious about how you can take ownership of your current self to be your best self in the future. So now go take care of yourself today, doing something that you can do to improve the future you. Thanks for listening, and share this with someone else that might be curious about how to be their best self in the future.